Hello, my name is Dwayne Kimball, owner and founder of KMD 89 VA Claims Consultant, Leave No Vet Behind, and also I'm a United States Army veteran. Today I'm bringing you another educational video as it pertains to the VA disability compensation claims process. Today I'm going to be talking about why isn't the VA using the veteran's DBQ and/or nexus statement when they submit it and it's completed by their private provider. But before I get into today's video, as always, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and don't forget to share this video with your fellow veterans. Also, you can follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So today's video, I've been seeing this become, the topic that I'm going to discuss today, become a huge issue, and a lot of veterans are not even aware of it, and it's right in front of their face, okay? And I've seen it with some clients and veterans that I've talked to over the phone, also veterans that have asked me some questions pertaining to this in my live YouTube Q&A session I do every other Wednesday. And it's, I submitted a DBQ and/or nexus statement that's actionable and sufficient, meaning that it's complete and that rating specialist can use it to rate that claim, but the VA is opting not to use it, and they are scheduling a C&P exam for that veteran and totally dismissing the veteran's DBQ and/or nexus statement. So I have a couple of slides that I'm going to share with you. I'm going to go through and I'm going to explain it, and then I'm going to get into some things that you as a veteran, if this happens, you are educated and you know when it happens. And I'm going to talk about an argument or a couple of arguments that you can argue if this happens to you if you decide to do a high-level review, okay? So slide number one. Here in slide number one, it's the definition is examiner qualification and signature requirements. Now, the reason why I picked this particular slide is because it talks about, and you can see I have it highlighted in red, non-VA healthcare provider. So examiner qualifications and signature requirements. So basically, this M21 states, hey, if it's a non-VA healthcare provider, this is what needs to be completed on that particular DBQ, all right, for signature requirements. Now, on my last claim, I had a third-party contractor contact me and say, hey, we're scheduling an exam, and I told him, nope, I'm not going because I don't know your doctor, I don't trust your doctor, and I have my own DBQ completed that I've already submitted to the VA, and they can use that to rate it, my claim. And that representative for that third-party contractor told me, you are not allowed as the veteran to have your own, you cannot have your private doctor complete a DBQ for you. And I was like, whoa. And I was still working at the VA at the time as a rater. I had like maybe 2 weeks left before, about a month maybe, before I retired when I was doing my last claim, okay? And I was like, well, that's not true. That's just, I knew it was not true at all, okay? So I still said, nope, I'm not going to see your doctor. They have evidence from my doctor, the private DBQ, they can use it, okay? And they use it. 2 weeks later, I got the rating decision. And then also, in the notes section, it says, in all cases involving completion of a DBQ or examination report by a non-VA healthcare provider, the area of practice, specialty of the provider must be identified. So I'm not so much talking about signature requirements. I just want to show you in the VA's M21 reference, it states, basically it's telling you, you can have your own private doctor to complete a DBQ. Again, I've done videos where I talked about DBQs. I've done training on DBQs where I'm educating veterans on what makes a DBQ actionable and sufficient. Sometimes veterans think, oh, it was completed by a medical doctor, it's good to go. And it could be missing a lot of information. And if it does, there's other references and regulations out there that states if it's not actionable or sufficient, it tells the VA employees what they need to do, okay? But we're not talking about that so much today. We're just talking about, hey, what M21 references that are out there that states a non-VA provider can complete a DBQ. All right, now, also keep in mind, this M21 reference is not all of it. I just only copy and paste some information, some information as it pertains to a non-VA healthcare provider. So as always, I always tell veterans, go out and continue to do your own research, okay? All right, slide number 2. And here in slide number 2 is Tele-C&P, Tele-mental health examinations. So again, I'm not talking about telehealth and tele-mental C&P exams, but I went out and got a couple of M21 references that has the verbiage non-VA provider in it, okay? So it says, important, when reviewing DBQs or medical examination reports prepared by private non-VA providers via means of telehealth and tele-mental health. So basically, you know, in this reference, what is telling the VA employee that the veteran can have a private provider complete a DBQ, and it could be by telehealth or tele-mental. Now, some DBQs do have to be in person, even if they're your private providers, okay? So go out there and check what those are. Some of them, one of them are, some of them are like your ankles, knees, back, neck, shoulders, elbows, wrists, because they have to measure the range of motion, okay? And I would even say some skin DBQs because they have to measure the area of, you know, whatever diagnosis you have for the skin, they have to measure that area. You know, so for example, eczema, psoriasis, dermatitis or something like that, okay? But again, that's why I'm telling you it's important to continue to go out and do more research, okay? And then it says credibility and probative value, okay? So I'm gonna talk about probative value. So you can see I highlighted it. Not only did I highlight it in red, I underlined it, I made it bold because I wanted it to stick out. So, probative value. When I seen this used by most raters is when the veteran has a DBQ and or nexus statement. And it's positive, meaning the rating specialist can grant the increase or grant the service connection for a condition, whether it be on direct basis, secondary, whatever. But basically, the information on the DBQ and the nexus statement is actionable and sufficient, and they can use it. They decide not to. They schedule an exam. The veteran goes to that exam, and that exam shows that the veteran doesn't warrant an increase and or service connection. So the rating specialist confirms and continues the service connection, meaning if it's at 0, 10, 20, 30, whatever, it stays at that percentage. And if the veteran is going for service connection, then they flat out, if it's a negative opinion from a VA examiner, then they deny the claim. And in the rating decisions, they say probative value. Basically what they're telling you is they're using their VA C&P examiner over your private doctor's information. And what I've seen, some reasons are, oh, our doctor has had a better view of your entire VA claims file. Now, also keep in mind, on that DBQ, it asks what evidence has been reviewed. And I've seen multiple veterans DBQs, even clients DBQs, once they had their doctor completed. And in there it says entire VA claims folder and information from the veterans VA progress notes. So basically what that is telling that rating specialist that the private doctor was looking at the same information as the VA doctor, but they use that word probative value to deny the claim, basically saying our doctor had a better view of all your medical records than your doctor. And that's not always the case, okay? That's the catch, all right? Now, you may say, well, Dwayne, how do you know this stuff? When I was a rating specialist, I looked at these DBQs, and that was information that I was looking for. When I was working my own claim, I made sure that that information was in there, okay? So why are the VA scheduling these exams? Now, when I was a rating specialist, when I first started as a rating specialist, rater, RVSR, we had to schedule all the C&P exams. Right before I retired, they transitioned to start having a veteran service representative, the VSR, to schedule the exam. Now you might say, well, you're both VA employees, right? Well, the VSR does not get trained to look at a DBQ to see if it's actionable and sufficient. They train them on how to request an exam, but what if you have an actionable and sufficient DBQ and it goes to a VSR? What do you think they're going to do? They don't know how to read it and see, okay, is it actionable, make the determination if it's actionable and sufficient. They go ahead and request the exam. Even if you have your own DBQ or nexus statement or nexus statement, because they can't read it and say if it's actionable or sufficient. So what I've been seeing here recently, when I say recently within the last 6 months, that they're just going out scheduling the exam. Now, I have talked to a few veterans, very few, that submitted DBQs and or nexus statement and it went through. But 9 times out of 10, what I've been seeing, they're scheduling the exam regardless, okay? So you as the veteran, you have to be educated on, can a non-VA provider complete a DBQ? 2, if you have a DBQ and or nexus statement, is it actionable and sufficient? You might want to have somebody that's experienced to look at it. Then you want to know, well, if it is actionable and sufficient, you, the veteran, have to make a determination if the VA schedules a C&P exam, do you go or do you not go? Not to have conflicting medical evidence. I made a decision not to go. Now, I'm not telling you not to go. That decision has to be yours. But if you decide to go or not go, be educated on what can happen either way, okay? That is so important. Now, I'm gonna link another video that I did here recently, ACE exams, because I've been seeing, again, veterans submit DBQs and nexus statements and or nexus statements, and the VA employee schedules an ACE exam. And the reason why you want to become familiar on ACE exams, because if it's a condition that's on that in that M21 that states when not to do an ACE exam, that is a grounds that you can argue on appeal. So for example, I'm not going to go through this whole ACE exam when it's prohibited. I'm going to link that video to the end of this video. But let's just say you do a DBQ and or nexus statement for a condition that's on that prohibited ACE list, and they go out and they schedule an ACE exam, and you decide, because you decided not to go, and they say, okay, we're going to use this ACE exam over your private doctor's DBQ. So in that high-level review, what am I arguing? First of all, I have an actionable and sufficient DBQ. What's wrong with it? Why wasn't it used? Second, they requested, meaning the VA employee requested an ACE exam, and they were not supposed to because it's on the prohibited ACE criteria in the M21. And I'll link that video to the end of this video so you can, if you haven't watched it, you can go back and watch it. But at the end of the day, it's all about being educated, looking at all your information, reading it. I get calls from veterans all the time, and I know when they leave me a comment in the comment section, I know they didn't read the notification letter. I know that they didn't read the rating decision, because the questions that they're asking me, the answers can be found in that information. So that lets me know they didn't read it. And a lot of times veterans don't understand it. I have videos out there explaining the difference between what's in the notification letter and what's in the rating decision, okay? So I hope you found this video informational and educational, okay? I may do a follow-up video, but just keep in mind, if you are going through the claims process and you have a DBQ and or nexus statement, you might want to give yourself a moment of pause and get educated, because the VA could be doing some stuff behind the scenes, and if you're not educated, you wouldn't be the wiser, okay? So with that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button. Don't forget to share this video with your fellow veterans. Thank you.